Welcome back to the deep dive. We have got a really interesting one today. We're tackling a subject that I think for most people comes with a massive amount of anxiety and, honestly, not enough strategy.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about the job hunt.
It's the universal experience, isn't it? I mean, everyone goes through it, and I think everyone kind of hates it.
Exactly. But we're not talking about, resume fonts or what color tie to wear. We're doing something a little more fundamental.
Yeah.
We are decoding the actual language of the game.
Yeah.
Because it really is a game, right?
It's absolutely a game. And like any game, if you don't understand the rules or, in this case, the specific dialect being spoken, you're going to lose.
That is the perfect analogy. So we've got this fascinating source material in front of us today. And on the surface, it just looks like a simple glossary.
Just a list of business words.
Right. But when you actually sit down and read the definitions, you realize this isn't a dictionary. It's a decoder ring.
That is the key insight. We tend to just gloss over these words in job ads. We see fast-paced or team player, and our eyes just slow right past them.
Yeah, they feel like filler.
Exactly. But the source suggests that every single one of those words is a calculated signal. They are not random. They are tools to filter people.
So our mission today is to slow down, stop skimming, and really unpack those signals. We want to help you, our listener, understand what employers are asking for.
And how you can use that same language to frame your own experience.
Yes. And I want to start right at the top with the ultimate goal. The source lists the term stand out.
Stand out. It sounds like such generic advice, doesn't it? Just make sure you stand out.
Right. And colloquially, I hear that and I think, I don't know, wear a bright red hat, be noticeable. But the source defines stand out with this, brutal simplicity.
Yeah, what does it say?
To be better than others.
Oof. That's a crucial distinction. It explicitly frames the whole thing as a zero-sum competition.
It really does.
It's not enough to be good. It's not enough to be qualified. You have to be better.
Which is honestly a little terrifying. It puts so much pressure on the language you choose.
Precisely. You are building an argument for why you're superior. And to do that, you have to first understand the battlefield. You have to analyze the ask.
Let's break that down. When you're scrolling through job boards and you're looking at openings, which the source just defines as available jobs,
right?
You're seeing a company trying to project an identity.
They're telling you who they are, or at least who they want you to think they are.
And there are certain adjectives that pop up everywhere. The big one for me is fast-paced.
It is ubiquitous. You cannot escape it.
Must thrive in a fast-paced environment. Now, the source defines this as an environment where things happen quickly.
Pretty straightforward.
But is it? I have to be the cynic here. When I see fast-paced, my brain translates that to chaotic, stressful, and you're never going to eat lunch.
I don't think that's cynical. I think that's protective. But let's look at that definition again. Things happen quickly. Yes, that implies a lack of downtime. But from the employer's view, they're signaling decision velocity.
Decision velocity.
They're telling you they value speed over perfectionism.
Ah, that's a really interesting reframe.
Think about it. If you're someone who needs 3 days to ponder a problem to get it just right, which is a great trait in some fields, like, I don't know, safety engineering.
Sure.
You are going to drown in a fast-paced environment. It's a filter. They want people who are comfortable with rapid iteration.
So it's not just a warning about stress, it's a warning about
thinking style.
Yeah.
They want quick processors.
Okay.
And that pairs perfectly with the next term, which is challenging.
Challenging. Another word I usually read is code for, impossible targets and weekend work.
Right. But look at the nuance in the source definition here. It defines challenging as a positive word for something which is exciting and difficult.
Exciting and difficult.
That pairing is vital. The difficulty is a feature, not a bug. It implies engagement. Like a video game, right? If it's too easy, it's boring.
You want it to be challenging.
Exactly. When a company uses this word, they're signaling they want someone who finds friction stimulating.
So in your cover letter, for a challenging role, you need to sound like you're looking for that friction.
You have to match their energy. You have to be the person who runs toward the fire.
Got it. Okay, so we've got the vibe. Fast, exciting, difficult. Now, what about the structure? The source distinguishes between a post and a field.
Yeah, this is useful. A post is just a job, the specific seat. A field is an area of business or activity.
Why does that distinction matter for an applicant?
Because you frame your story differently. Are you applying for the post of marketing manager, or are you trying to join the field of fintech? If you're changing fields, you have to show how your skills translate. If you're just changing posts, it's more about technical execution.
That makes a lot of sense. And
And
speaking of execution, let's talk about customer-facing.
defined as dealing directly with customers. This is a huge filter.
It is, isn't it? It's emotional labor.
Totally. It implies diplomacy, patience. It requires a certain kind of emotional battery.
Yeah.
If you're an introvert who gets drained by one conversation, a customer-facing role is going to be a mismatch, even if you have the technical skills.
It's the mode of work that will burn you out.
Yeah.
And that also connects to the hierarchy, right? The phrase report to.
Right, which is just defined as when someone is your boss.
So simple, but it defines the chain of command. It anchors you in the organization.
It tells you who holds the keys.
Okay, so we've analyzed the environment. We've decoded the ask. Now, we have to flip the script. How does the candidate build their offer?
Right. How do you prove you can stand out? And there's one term in the source I think is more powerful than almost any other on a resume.
What is it?
Hands-on.
Hands-on experience. I see that one a lot.
The definition here is so important. Practical and direct rather than theoretical.
Rather than theoretical. That's a sharp distinction.
It is. In most job openings, employers are terrified of hiring someone who only understands the theory of the job but can't actually do it.
They don't want a philosopher. They want a mechanic.
Exactly. Saying you're hands-on signals that you do the work, you execute. It reassures them you won't just sit there and theorize.
Speaking of action, let's talk about leadership. Because I think people fall into this trap where if they haven't had the title of manager, they can't claim it.
Yes, and this is a gift. The source splits this into two different concepts:
Not sure.
managerial experience and leadership qualities.
Okay, so what's the difference?
Managerial experience is technical. It's experience of managing other people. It's a fact. You either did it or you didn't.
Right.
But leadership qualities, that's defined as the ability to lead a group. That's a trait, a potential.
You can have the qualities without the experience.
Exactly. So if you're a junior employee, but you organized the team retreat or you took charge of a project,
That's leadership qualities.
yes, you demonstrated the ability. You don't have to lie about your experience. You just pivot to your qualities.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
But you need evidence. You can't just say, I have qualities. You need verbs.
You need active verbs. And the source highlights one: carried out.
Carried out. It sounds a little, I don't know, bureaucratic.
It does, but look at the definition: to have done or completed a specific project or task. The key word there is completed.
Completion.
Employers love completion. A lot of people say work on X, that's weak. Carried out implies ownership. You took it from start to finish.
It's participation versus accountability.
Precisely. And you have to connect that accountability to the job you want. You have to show it's relevant to their needs.
Okay, now let's get into the emotional side because, we aren't robots. The source includes the phrase passion for.
Defined simply as liking something very much.
I feel like passion has become a buzzword that people just roll their eyes at. I have a passion for data entry. Do you really?
It can be overused for sure, but think about why they ask for it. It's because passion for the work acts as an energy multiplier.
An energy multiplier.
If you like something very much, you're internally motivated, you solve problems because they bother you, not just because you're paid to. You have a self-sustaining fuel source.
That makes sense. But, and here's the twist, you can't be a passionate lone wolf. You also have to be a team player.
A person who is good at working with others. This is the necessary counterbalance to stand out.
It feels like a contradiction, though, doesn't it? We started with stand out, be better than everyone else. Now it's team player, fit in with everyone else.
It is the central tension of the modern workplace. You have to prove you're an exceptional individual, while also proving you can submerge that individuality into the group. It's a delicate dance.
I'm the MVP, but I love passing the ball.
Exactly that. Lean too hard one way, you look arrogant. Lean too hard at the other, you look like you have no new ideas.
Okay, let's move on. We know the environment. We have our toolkit. Now we have to actually make contact. Let's talk about the cover letter.
Or covering letter, as it's also called.
So, real talk. Does anyone actually read these anymore?
That is the million-dollar question. But here's the thing. Precisely because it's rare now, it's a differentiator. It signals effort.
And the source is very specific about the etiquette here. It lays out some rules that feel kind of old-fashioned.
They do, but they're signals of professionalism. They show you know the code.
Okay, so let's test the code. What if you do not know the name of the person you're writing to? How do you start?
You start with Dear Sir or Madam.
Dear Sir or Madam. It feels so stiff.
It is stiff, but it's also safe. It's respectful. Way better than to whom it may concern.
Okay. And how do you end it? If you started with Dear Sir or Madam, how do you sign off?
Yours faithfully.
Yours faithfully. Really? I feel like I'm writing a letter to a soldier in the Civil War.
I know, it sounds so dramatic. But in business correspondence, that's the rule. It signals you're following protocol.
So what's the alternative?
The alternative is yours sincerely. But you only use that when you know their name. Dear Mr. Smith ends with yours sincerely.
And does getting that wrong actually matter?
Probably not fatally. But think of it this way. It's a way to prove you have attention to detail without saying, I have attention to detail. It's a small competence signal.
That's fascinating. That tiny word faithfully is doing a lot of work.
Exactly.
All right, let's get to the good stuff. The reward. Why are we doing all this? Let's talk compensation.
Well, the big one we see everywhere is competitive salary.
Right, which I always interpret as we're not going to tell you the number.
That's often the strategy, yeah.
Yeah.
But the definition in the source is actually reassuring. It defines it as a salary that is as good as or better than other salaries for similar jobs.
As good as or better than.
So it's a promise of market value. They're signaling they aren't looking for cheap labor. It puts the negotiation on a specific footing.
And then you have the extras, the benefits package.
Right, all the extra stuff. Health, vacation, all of that.
And the source mentions that some things might be subsidized.
Which means partly paid for by the company, like a gym membership or the cafeteria.
It's interesting how those perks kind of keep you in the building, you know. We have a subsidized gym and subsidized lunch.
It sounds like generosity, but it's also retention. If your life is easier inside the corporate ecosystem, you're less likely to leave.
A velvet trap.
Yeah.
But there's also the long game. Career prospects.
Opportunities for promotion and career development. This is key. If a job ad highlights this, they're selling you on a future, on a ladder.
And to get you up that ladder, they might offer full training.
And that's defined as all the training a person needs for a role. I find this phrase really interesting right now.
Why is that?
Because we hear so much about companies wanting unicorns who know everything on day one.
Right.
If a company offers full training, they're admitting they don't expect you to know everything. They're willing to invest in you.
That's a really encouraging point.
It implies they're hiring for potential and attitude, your passion for the work, not just your current skills.
So if you see full training, don't be afraid to apply, even if you don't check every single box.
Exactly. They are offering to fill in the gaps.
So let's try to synthesize this whole journey. Let's put it all together.
Let's do it.
You find an opening. It's in a fast-paced field, so you know it's going to be quick and energetic.
And it's challenging, so you know it's going to be difficult, but hopefully in an engaging way.
So you sit down to write your cover letter. You don't know who you're writing to, so you start with Dear Sir or Madam, and you end with Yours faithfully.
Inside that letter, you highlight that you're hands-on. You use active verbs like carried out to show you complete things.
You show your passion for the industry, your drive, but you also mention that while you have leadership qualities, you're a team player.
And the whole goal is to land that post with a competitive salary, a good benefits package, and some real career prospects.
That's the narrative arc, decoded. It's not just noise. Every single word is a signal.
Every word counts. You just have to know how to listen.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. We touched on this, but I can't stop thinking about the tension between two of these definitions.
The paradox.
Yes. On one hand, the whole goal is to stand out, which the source defines as to be better than others.
It's hierarchical, it's competitive.
But on the other hand, a core requirement is to be a team player, defined as a person who is good at working with others.
It's a fascinating contradiction, isn't it? The language of recruitment demands that you prove you are an exceptional individual,
Better than the rest.
while also proving you can blend in seamlessly.
It really begs the question, does the modern workplace actually want you to stand out, or does it just want you to fit in?
The vocabulary suggests they want both at the same time. A superstar who's also a perfect cog in the machine and navigating that contradiction, well, that might be the real challenge of the job hunt.
That is a lot to think about before you send your next application.
Mm.
Good luck out there. And thanks for listening to The Deep Dive.
Goodbye.